Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, as you'll recall, at our last meeting, Stephanie Suter provided a business item briefing on the towing advisory board's recommendation to council for the towing contractor for the next 5-year period. There were a lot of questions from council that evening and then subsequently. And before we got to the vote, I just wanted to run through a few items, a few talking points, and make sure we clear up some of the uncertainty around the contract, what it is, how it works, so on and so forth. So first of all, municipal towing contracts are really unique in Virginia in that only the governing body is given authority to enter into a contract for towing services. Typically, procurement is a city staff function. So every 5 years, as a result, City Council appoints a towing advisory board that develops and approves a request for a proposal, evaluates the responses that we receive for that request for a proposal, and ultimately makes a recommendation to City Council to select a towing service provider based on the criteria in the RFP. We use this procurement process in this case specifically, but generally, to ensure that we receive the best service at the lowest price. It allows the private sector to compete for our business, and competition typically drives down price and improves service. So this year, the Towing Advisory Board has made their recommendation to City Council because the recommended provider has, among other things, offered the best overall contract pricing. They have the largest fleet, and they have highly trained and certified drivers that all live within 5 miles of their facility. But what I really want to clarify is what's in the contract and what's not in the contract, because I think that's where a lot of the questions have stemmed from. So what is in the city's towing contract? First of all, it is for towing city-owned vehicles. This is the city fleet, both heavy duty and light duty. If we look back at our last completed fiscal year 24, so this ran from July 1, 2023 through June 30th of 2024, this accounted for a total of 98 tows of city vehicles, 68% of which were heavy duty tows. Next, this contract covers police initiated tows for evidence recovery. These are tows where we need to keep the car in our possession so that we can use it for evidence recovery. The city pays for these tows. In FY 2024, there were a total of 39 tows in this capacity. And thirdly, you have police-initiated tows for DUIs, impounds, or abandoned vehicles. These are vehicle owner-paid tows, but they are charged the city contract price. In FY 2024, we had 520 total tows under this category. And incidentally, the recommended provider this year was the least expensive for towing these types of vehicles, and also had the lowest storage cost for these types of tows. So what is not in the towing contract? This contract does not in any way govern which towing provider tows vehicles involved in accidents or any other private towing contract across the city. So bottom line, the vast majority of towing services provided across the city have nothing to do with this contract. There were a lot of questions about what happens in the case of an accident. So what guidance do police officers provide about which towing service to use? I spoke with Chief Zutema this morning, and he was very clear. Unless there is an acute public safety reason to do so, officers are not permitted to recommend a service, mention which service the city uses, or even provide the names of towing businesses in the area. And we do this to avoid any potential conflicts of interest. There were other questions about a rotation. So I asked Chief Zutema this question: what is most important in a towing contract or a towing provider for police? And his answer was pretty straightforward. It's speed, speed, speed. The quicker an officer can clear a call, the quicker they can get on to the next one. recommended provider has the most drivers, all of which must live within 5 miles of their facility. The other benefit to both public safety and city staff of having a single towing provider is that our dispatchers, our police officers, and our citizens' first advisors know where the cars are because we have one provider. So if someone calls in and asks, my car was towed, where is my car? If it was a city-initiated tow, that tow is at the impound lot of our recommended provider. So this is going to save quite a bit of time, both on the front end and the back end, in organizing a rotation, in tracking down where vehicles are. I know it doesn't sound like it is an impossible thing to do. It's not impossible, but it takes manpower. And this is manpower that could be used in many different ways. So managing that rotation will necessarily divert our folks away from the core missions and duties. So bottom line, a rotation is something that we could certainly consider, but if efficiency is the goal, then a rotation is not the way to go. And that was made clear in the conversations we had today with the police chief. So just wanted to provide you some background, hopefully answer a few questions you might have before we had a debate on this topic.